Backstage Chaos, Dylan Wang accused of dragging Shen Yue away, Wei and Li Xian chase him down the hall. It began long before the cameras rolled. Long before the lights turned bright enough to blind. Long before fans started whispering, wondering, piecing together fragments of a truth no one was supposed to know. Before we dive deeper into this chaos, don't forget to subscribe, like, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next twist, because what you're about to hear will shake everything you thought you knew. Tonight was meant to be ordinary, just another award show, another sea of glittering gowns, polished shoes, and tightly rehearsed smiles. But behind the curtains, behind the velvet ropes, something volatile had been boiling for weeks. Shen Yue didn't know it yet, but every step she took toward the backstage area was a step deeper into a storm she never asked for. She had just wrapped her interview. Her hair still held the soft shine the stylists worked so hard to perfect, and the smile she'd given the viewers lingered gently on her lips. She walked slowly, trying to breathe, trying to shake the nerves the industry sometimes carved into her bones. But then, a shadow on the far end of the hallway shifted. Dylan Wang. He stood there with a look she had seen only once or twice before, intense, conflicted, unreadable. A look that held far too many stories and far too many secrets. The air around him felt different. Sharp. Charged. Shen Yue. His voice cut through the silence like a spark in a room filled with gasoline. She paused. Hesitated. Dylan? What's wrong? He walked toward her, too fast, too determined, too full of something he wasn't ready to say out loud. Before she could step back, he reached out and grabbed her wrist. Not roughly. Not gently. Desperately. Come with me. Please. Just for a moment. But desperation can look dangerous, especially when misunderstood. And this time, it was. Across the hallway, Wei had just finished filming his segment. He caught a glimpse, Shen Yue's startled expression, Dylan's grip tightening, her hand lifting in reluctant resistance. Hey, Hy. Dylan. Miles' voice ricocheted through the corridor, startling the crew. Li Xian, who had been speaking to a stage manager, turned sharply. He saw the same thing Miles saw, and adrenaline surged through him. And in that single, unguarded second, everything snapped. Dylan tugged Shen Yue toward the side exit, the only place without cameras. A place meant for staff, not stars. A place hidden from the public eye. Miles dropped the script he was holding. No hesitation. No calculation. Just pure instinct as he charged toward them. Li Xian followed instantly, shouting, Dylan. Stop! What are you doing? The corridor erupted into chaos. Chairs toppled. Clipboards dropped. Assistants gasped. The stage lights flickered as footsteps thundered down the hall, echoing like a heartbeat amplified through the walls. Dylan glanced over his shoulder just long enough to see Miles closing in, fast, furious, protective. And for a moment, a dangerous expression flashed across Dylan's face. Not anger. Not jealousy. Something deeper. Something raw. He pulled Shen Yue closer and said under his breath, You, please. Just listen to me. But she was already trembling. Her breathing uneven, her voice trapped somewhere in her throat. When Miles reached them, he didn't ask questions. He didn't wait for explanations. His hand shot forward, grabbing Dylan's arm with enough force to wrench him away from her. What the hell is wrong with you? Miles roared, pulling Shen Yue behind him. Dylan staggered back but didn't retreat. He stepped forward again, eyes burning, jaw tight. This is between me and her, Dylan snapped. Stay out of it. You don't drag someone into a hallway and call it a conversation. Miles fired back. Li Xian slipped between them just as the two collided, shoulders slamming, breaths harsh, tempers boiling over. Crew members crowded the edges of the hallway, stunned, whispering, afraid to intervene. Shen Yue stood frozen, her eyes wide, her hands shaking uncontrollably. Every second felt heavier than the last. Miles shoved Dylan again. "You think because you're Dylan Wang you can do whatever you want?" Dylan's voice cracked, half anger, half something else entirely. "You don't understand. You don't understand what she's involved in." Li Xian, trying to hold them apart, shouted, "Enough. Both of you, enough." But emotions don't obey reason. Fists clenched. Breaths quickened. Pain, fear, and secrets filled the air like smoke. Shen Yue could no longer hold it in. Tears slipped down her cheeks, slowly at first, then uncontrollably. She covered her mouth, choking on sobs that sounded too soft yet too devastating to ignore. The sight of her crying hit all three men like a blade. Dylan's expression shattered. Miles' anger dimmed into guilt. Li Xian's voice broke as he whispered, "You, please, don't cry." But she couldn't stop. She cried like her heart had been pulled open. Like everything she had been trying to stay strong for suddenly collapsed inside her. She cried until her knees weakened, and Li Xian had to steady her gently, whispering, "It's okay, you're safe now." But the chaos didn't end in the hallway. Because scandal never stays quiet in a place filled with cameras. Word spread fast. Too fast. And when the story reached Bai Lu's ears, the quiet backstage rumor turned into an inferno. Bai Lu didn't hesitate for even one moment. She took to her platform with a fire in her voice and an accusation in every sentence. She called Shen Yue out publicly, claiming Shen Yue had been stirring up trouble, misleading people, and making herself look like a victim to gain sympathy. Her words were sharp. Cold. Calculated. Like she wanted to slice the entire fandom in half. Suddenly, the fans were no longer just observers, they became soldiers. Comment sections transformed into battlegrounds. Clips of the hallway incident leaked from staff phones. Slow-motion replays. Freeze frames. Red circles drawn around every glare, every tear, every gesture. People chose sides. Some defended Dylan, saying he looked desperate, not violent. Some defended Miles, insisting he did what any real friend would do. Some blamed Li Xian, claiming he should have known the tension sooner. But the loudest voices were the ones targeting Shen Yue. Accusing. Mocking. Doubting her tears. Bai Lu fueled the storm with every new statement, every subtle dig, every implied threat. She didn't hold back. She didn't step down. She added chaos to chaos, fire to fire, until the entire situation felt like a war with no rules and no mercy. And Shen Yue, trapped in the center of it all, could only watch as her name became a headline, a hashtag, a battlefield. She didn't sleep that night. She didn't eat. She just cried, crying the way she had in that hallway, crying because she didn't understand how everything had spiraled so fast, so violently, so publicly. Meanwhile, Miles sat alone in his apartment replaying the moment he pulled Dylan away, wondering if he'd made things worse. Li Xian paced his living room in silence, unable to shake the image of Shen Yue's tears. And Dylan. Dylan sat in the dark, staring at the bruise forming on his jaw, guilt twisting inside him like barbed wire. He didn't care about the headlines. He didn't care about the fans. All he cared about was the pain in Shen Yue's eyes and the fact that he had caused it, no matter his intentions. But the story wasn't over. Because scandals don't die quietly. They rise. They twist. They return. And the truth, whatever it was, would eventually come out. whether they were ready for it or not. And before this story fades into its final silence, don't forget to subscribe, like, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next twist in a world where behind-the-scenes secrets always find their way to the spotlight.